Thursday evening arrives with the particular intensity that follows life-altering decisions. Kemi Olawunmi sits in the back of her company's armored Mercedes, reviewing contracts on her tablet while her mind processes the week's developments. 3 oil rights negotiations concluded successfully, 2 corporate mergers facilitated, and 1 personal boundary permanently altered. The memory of her first consultation with Obaro had lingered all week, not just the physical intimacy, though that had exceeded her carefully managed expectations, but the psychological relief of surrendering control to someone capable of wielding it responsibly. For a woman who makes million-dollar decisions before breakfast, the luxury of not being in charge had proven more intoxicating than she'd anticipated. "We done reach, madam," her driver announces, though his tone carries the careful neutrality of someone who asks no questions about his employer's evening activities. Obaro's penthouse has been transformed again, the lighting softer than last week, the music more complex, the overall atmosphere suggesting that tonight's experience will build upon rather than repeat their previous encounter. He greets her wearing a charcoal suit that probably costs more than most people's cars. His confidence carrying the particular edge that comes from a man who understands exactly what effect he has on powerful women. "Kemi," he says, kissing her cheek with the familiarity their signed agreements now permit. "You look magnificent and slightly dangerous." She does look dangerous, wearing a black dress that manages to be both boardroom appropriate and evening seductive, her hair styled in a way that suggests she came directly from dismantling someone's poorly structured deal. Because she had. "I closed the Chevron partnership today," she says, accepting the cocktail he offers, something involving aged rum and exotic fruits that tastes like it should be illegal. 18 months of negotiations concluded with signatures and celebration champagne. "Congratulations," Obaro says, though his tone suggests he's more interested in what comes after professional victories than the victories themselves. "And how does it feel to spend your day in complete control, then come here to explore alternatives?" The question cuts directly to the heart of what's been occupying her thoughts all week. In boardrooms, she's feared and respected precisely because she never shows uncertainty, never reveals weaknesses, never allows anyone to see her as anything other than completely self-possessed. But last Thursday night, she discovered the intoxicating freedom that comes from trusting someone else to manage her experience. "It feels like balance," she admits, settling into the chair he indicates. "Like I've found a way to be powerful during the day and human in the evening." Obaro begins preparing what she can see will be tonight's first course, something involving prawns and what appears to be several varieties of peppers. His movements carry the same precision she brings to contract negotiations, every action deliberate and designed to achieve specific results. "Tell me about power," he says while cooking, his request carrying the weight of genuine curiosity rather than casual conversation. "Power is about information," Kemi says, watching his technique with the kind of attention she usually reserves for legal documents. "Knowing what people want, what they fear, what they're willing to trade for security or advancement or satisfaction." "And in your personal life?" The question creates a pause that neither expects. Kemi realizes she's never clearly distinguished between personal and professional power. In her world, they've always been essentially the same thing. "I don't have a personal life," she says finally. "I have a life where I exercise power professionally, and evenings where I recover from exercising power professionally." Until now, she confirms, accepting the perfectly plated prawns with a sauce that somehow manages to be both familiar and completely unexpected. Now I have Thursday evenings where I discover what it feels like to trust someone else's expertise. The meal progresses through courses that seem designed to encourage increasingly personal revelations. By the time they reach the main course, perfectly prepared goat meat with jollof rice that somehow transcends its humble ingredients, their conversation has moved into territory that Kemi rarely allows herself to explore. "I've never been married," she says, though she's not sure what prompted the confession. "Never been close. Most men are either intimidated by my success or trying to figure out how to profit from it." "And women?" The question catches her off guard, forcing her to acknowledge aspects of her sexuality she's kept carefully compartmentalized. "Women understand power differently," she says carefully. "But I've never found one willing to navigate the complexities of being involved with someone like me." "Someone like you?" "Someone who controls billion-naira decisions but has no idea how to be vulnerable without it becoming a professional liability." Obaro sets down his utensils and looks at her with the kind of direct attention that makes her pulse quicken. Vulnerability isn't a liability, Kemi. It's a currency. The question is whether you're willing to invest it wisely. The dessert, dark chocolate mousse with hints of ginger and Scotch bonnet pepper, arrives as their conversation explores what wise investment might look like. The documents she signs tonight are more complex than last week's, acknowledging that her appetite for surrender is expanding beyond what either of them initially anticipated. "I want to try something different next week," she says as the evening concludes. "Something that challenges more than just my need for control." "What did you have in mind?" "I want to bring someone with me," Kemi says, the words surprising her as much as they do Obaro. "Someone who understands my world but has never seen me vulnerable." The request represents territory that none of Obaro's previous consultations have explored. His arrangements have always been carefully individual, designed to create intimate spaces where women can explore aspects of themselves separate from their public roles. Adding another person changes every dynamic. "Who?" he asks. "Another lawyer. Someone I've worked with for years but never connected with outside professional contexts." Kemi pauses, considering the implications of what she's proposing. Someone who might benefit from understanding that power can be shared rather than just wielded. As she prepares to leave, signing additional documents that acknowledge the unprecedented nature of next week's proposed arrangement, both she and Obaro understand that they're moving beyond individual consultations into something more complex and potentially more dangerous. "Thursday at 7:30, Obaro says, "and bring your colleague. But understand, once you cross that line, there's no returning to purely professional relationships." "I know," Kemi says, though her voice carries both anticipation and uncertainty. That's exactly what makes it worth trying.